Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is 22nd January 2025. In this video, let us generate demand and supply zones useful to the premium subscribers. Even before that, all of you please understand we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. You might be knowing the cost of the training is over 8,000 US dollars, but we are providing complete free training including all the advanced strategies. And you can access all the training lessons at our NeoStock YouTube channel. At our channel homepage, click on the tab Posts. Some of you might be seeing the tab Community. Click on the tab, you get access to this post. This post is having a YouTube playlist link that will take you to all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now we are into supply demand zone price action course. Here you have all the training lessons are available. You need to start your training from lesson 1. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one and strengthen your skills related to supply demand zone price action. I have also provided the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. Please join at our Telegram channel. It will be helpful to you. Now let's get into the report generation with the help of NeoStock Software Supply Demand Zone Top-Down Analysis Strategy Builder. Okay, first I am generating the stocks near demand and supply zones and also daily time frame to yearly time frame to daily time frame, price closed inside demand and supply zones also I am generating. So let me start with the yearly time frame. Price closed inside the yearly demand zone. We got 3 stocks. I am giving you only few seconds time to watch the report. So I request you pause the video, study the report, and then you can proceed further with the next reports. Those who don't understand the structure of this report, I request you complete our training lesson 21.1. In that video, I have explained each and every column, their values, abbreviations in detail. Okay, now next yearly time frame. Price closed inside the yearly supply zone. We don't have any stocks. Next time frame is half yearly. Stocks near half yearly demand zone. 1 stock is filtered. Next half yearly time frame. Stocks near half yearly supply zone. 1 stock is filtered. Next time frame, for half yearly time frame, price closed inside the half yearly demand zone. We got 6 stocks. Next half yearly time frame, price closed inside the half yearly supply zone. We got 1 stock. Next time frame is a quarterly. Stocks near quarterly demand zone. We got 2 stocks. Next quarterly time frame. Stocks near quarterly supply zone. We got 5 stocks. Next quarterly time frame. Price closed inside the quarterly demand zone. We got 29 stocks. And the first 21 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. Total 29 stocks are filtered. Price closed inside quarterly demand zone. We can further reduce the list by adding high probability parameters like EMA Confluence. So on these 29 stocks, I am applying EMA Confluence on quarterly time frame. Quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA Confluence filter is enabled. And also don't forget, when you set EMA Confluence, trend should not be sideways on quarterly time frame. because the sideways trend EMA Confluence does not add any effect. So that's why I'm selecting the trend as up or down. Let's filter. See, now the list is come down to 16 from 27 stocks. All these 16 stocks are having quarterly demand zone, having quarterly EMA Confluence, and the present price closed inside the zone, quarterly demand zone. Okay, next, quarterly time frame. Price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. We got 3 stocks. If you want to know how many of the supply zones are having quarterly EMA Confluence, add that filter. EMA Confluence and quarterly time frame, quarterly supply zone having quarterly EMA Confluence, trend on quarterly time frame either up or down. So all the 3 stocks are filtered. All the 3 stocks are having quarterly EMA Confluence. I mean all the demand zones. But all these, these are all supply zones. We set a wrong filter. Yeah, correct only. Quarterly supply zone with quarterly. Perfect. Okay. Next time frame is monthly. Stocks near monthly demand zone. We got 5 stocks. Next, monthly time frame. Stocks near monthly supply zone. We got 6 stocks. Next, monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly demand zone. We got 44 stocks. And first 19 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So out of these 44 stocks, let us identify high probability supported monthly demand zones based on monthly EMA Confluence. So in the EMA Confluence, monthly time frame, monthly demand zone having monthly EMA Confluence, and trend on monthly time frame is either up or down. Let's filter. Now the list is reduced to 22 stocks. Excuse me. Scrolling the list down. All these 22 monthly demand zones are having monthly EMA Confluence and price closed inside the monthly demand zone. Okay, next up, monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly supply zone. We got 8 stocks. Out of these 8 monthly supply zones, how many are having monthly EMA Confluence? So in the EMA Confluence monthly time frame, I am setting the filter monthly supply zone having monthly EMA Confluence and trend on monthly time frame either up or down. With these filters, we got 3 stocks. These 3 monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA Confluence. But all these monthly zones are pierced zones. But you already learned pierced zone strategy in lesson 28. You can make use of those concepts. Okay, this is about a monthly time frame. Next time frame is a weekly. Stocks near weekly demand zone. We got 17 stocks. Next, weekly time frame, stocks near weekly supply zone. We got 16 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 16 stocks are filtered. Price closed near to the monthly supply zone. Okay, next, weekly time frame. Price closed inside the weekly demand zone. We got 71 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 71 weekly demand zones are filtered. Out of these 71 weekly demand zones, how many are having weekly EMA confluence? Weekly demand zones having weekly EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence filter, at weekly time frame, I am setting the filter weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. And the trend on weekly time frame should be either up or down. Let's filter. Now the list is come down to 15 stocks. From 71, we got 15 stocks. All these 15 weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA confluence and price closed inside the weekly demand zone. And some of these weekly demand zones are pierced demand zones. Okay, next, weekly time frame. Price closed inside weekly supply zone. We got 21 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 21 stocks are filtered where price closed inside weekly supply zone. Out of these 21 weekly supply zone, how many supply zones are having weekly EMA confluence? Let us verify. In the EMA confluence filter, at weekly time frame, I am setting the filter weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. And a trend on weekly time frame should be either up or down. Let's filter. We got 9 stocks. These 9 weekly supply zones are having weekly EMA confluence and also current price closed in these weekly supply zones. So this is about weekly time frame. Next time frame is a daily. Entry time frame daily. Let us find the stocks near daily demand zone. We got 6 stocks. Out of 6, how many high liquidity daily demand zones are available? Let us identify. Nestle is having a high liquidity zone. Pidilite Industries is having a high liquidity zone. So total 2 high liquidity zones we identified. And Tata Chemicals is the TCO zone. That is a low priority high liquidity zones. You can't expect 80% success rate. Okay, this is stocks near daily demand zones. Next, for daily time frame, let us find the stocks near daily supply zone. We got 14 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity daily supply zones from this list. Birla Soft is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. KEI is having a high liquidity supply zone. Marico is having a high liquidity supply zone. And MGL is having a high liquidity daily supply zone. So total we identified 4 high liquidity supply zones, stocks near daily supply zone. Okay, next for daily time frame, let us find the stocks where price closed inside the daily demand zone. We got 58 stocks. First 15 stocks you are seeing in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 58 stocks are filtered, where price closed inside daily demand zone. Out of these 58, how many daily demand zones are having daily EMA Confluence? Let us verify. In the EMA Confluence filter at a daily time frame, I am setting the filter daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. And a trend on daily time frame, I am setting up or down. Let's filter the stocks. See, now the list is reduced to only 8 stocks. These 8 daily demand zones are having daily EMA Confluence, and also current price closed inside the daily demand zone. And some of these daily demand zones are pierced demand zones. For those stocks, you can apply pierced zone strategies. You land in lesson 28. Okay, next, for daily time frame, price closed inside the daily supply zone. We got 23 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 23 stocks are filtered. Out of these 23 daily demand zones, how many daily demand zones are having daily EMA Confluence? Let us verify. Daily supply zones, not demand zones. Daily supply zones with daily EMA Confluence. So in the EMA Confluence, a daily time frame, daily supply zone having daily EMA Confluence filter is enabled, and trend on daily time frame should be either up or down. Let's filter. Now the list is come down to 11 stocks. These 11 daily supply zones are having daily EMA Confluence, and some of these daily supply zones are pierced. For those zones, you can use a pierced zone strategies. Land in lesson 28. So this is about stocks related to the daily time frame. Next time frame is 125 minutes. Stocks near 125 minutes demand zone. We got 9 stocks. Next 125 minutes time frame. Stocks near 125 minutes supply zone. We got 32 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 32 stocks are filtered. Okay, next time frame is 75 minutes. Stocks near 75 minutes demand zone. We got 11 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity zones from this list. This is a pierced zone. This is also a pierced zone. So we don't have any high liquidity 75 minutes demand zones from this list. We don't have any valid zones. Okay. Next, 75 minutes time frame. Let us find the stocks near 75 minutes supply zone. We got 20 stocks. And the first 15 stocks we are seeing in the list. Let us identify high liquidity supply zones from this list. Adani Enterprises is having a high liquidity 75 minute supply zone. Indus Tower is having a high liquidity zone. KPI Technologies, LIC, Tata Communication, and Yes Bank. So total 6 high liquidity supply zones, 75-minute supply zones we identified from this list. So this is about high liquidity zones. Next time frame is 25 minutes. Stocks near 25 minutes demand zone. We got 9 stocks. Next 25 minutes time frame. Stocks near 25 minutes supply zone. We got 15 stocks. Next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near 15 minutes demand zone. We got 2 stocks. Out of these 2, how many are having a high TF demand zone confluence? Let us verify. That is 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. Let's filter. We got 1 stock. So that means this 15 minutes demand zone is overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. That is what zone confluence. Okay. Next, for 15 minutes time frame, stocks near 15 minutes supply zone, we got 10 stocks. Out of these 10, how many of these stocks are having ITF confluence? That is 15 minute supply zone having confluence with 75 minutes supply zone. Let us enable that filter. Excuse me. So this filter is enabled. Now we got 7 stocks. In all these 7 stocks, these 15 minute supply zones are part of this 75 minute supply zone. That means they are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. Okay, next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near 5 minutes demand zone, we got 14 stocks. Out of these 14, how many of these stocks are having ITF demand zone confluence? That is 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, we got only 3 stocks out of 14. In all the 3 stocks, these 5 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 15 minutes demand zone. Okay. Next, for 5 minutes time frame, stocks near 5 minutes supply zone, we got 16 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. Now let's verify how many of these 5 minute supply zones are having confluence with 15 minutes supply zone. I am adding the filter 5 minute supply zone confluence with 15 minute supply zone. With this filter, we got only 2 stocks. And in this first one is already pierced. Okay, this is about stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. Next, we will generate NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. Let me start with NIFTY, generating a monthly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. This is NIFTY, monthly supply demand zone chain. Always look into the zone column to find high liquidity zones, and look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones, and look into the LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. Same rules you can apply to the remaining reports in supply demand zone chain. Okay, next, weekly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. Next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. So at 31 we have the demand zone. So to view more demand zones, I am scrolling the list down. This is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price, and also this is the nearest supply zone. Okay, next 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. All these are all supply zones. So let me scroll the list down. Okay, this is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price, and this is the nearest supply zone. Okay, this is about Nifty supply demand zone chain. Next, let us generate Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. That is nothing but Nifty Bank. Generating monthly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, weekly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. And this is the nearest demand zone. I am scrolling the list down to view more demand zones. Okay, this list might be enough for you. Next, 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. All are supply zones. I am scrolling the list down. So this is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price. It is a pierced supply zone. 34. This is the high liquidity demand zone. I am scrolling the list so that you can almost see equal number of demand zones and supply zones. So this is about the Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. Next, we will generate bullish and bearish trade setup for monthly, weekly and daily income trades. For bullish trade setup monthly income trade, entry time frame is daily, entry zone demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup parameter at entry time frame daily, I am selecting bullish, telling the computer our software generate bullish trade setup. for entry time frame daily, that is nothing but monthly income trade. And also I'm setting the filters to the daily demand zone. Zone achievement, violated opposing zone, minimum odd and enhanced score 12. Both filters are applied to daily demand zone. Now let's filter the stocks. We got 8 stocks. So these 8 stocks are having a bullish trade setup, daily demand zones. The daily demand zones are supporting bullish trade setup in all these 8 stocks for monthly income trade. Okay, out of these 8, some are high liquidity zones. That way they have some high probability. And we can add more high probability to these zones. Let us check whether they are having high probability based on zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is a daily demand zone confluence with weekly demand zone confluence filter is enabled. With this filter, we got 7 stocks. In all these 7 stocks, these daily demand zones are part of the weekly demand zone. That means they are overlapped with weekly demand zone. And weekly trend is uptrend in all these stocks, ITF trend. If weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence, then those filtered stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, why weekly? Because the daily demand zone is a part of the weekly demand zone, that is overlapped. That's why we are setting weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. Let's filter. We got 2 stocks. So these 2 stocks are even more high probability trade setup, bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. See, both these stocks are tested already. Okay, next. LTF, ITF and HTF zone confluence. So removing EMA filter because it is ITF specific. Now we should focus on HTF. So in the LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence, we need to set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. This is a daily with weekly. Second filter is a daily demand zone confluence with monthly demand zone confluence. Third filter, weekly demand zone confluence with monthly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence, we got 4 stocks. In these 4 stocks, these daily demand zones are part of the weekly demand zone. Both together again part of the monthly demand zone. And monthly trend is uptrend for the first 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, if they are having a monthly EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at monthly time frame, I am setting monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence, and the trend should not be sideways on monthly. So that's why I am selecting uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. Let's verify. We got 1 stock. So this is even more high probability trade setup supported zone, but remember it is a pierced zone. So you have to apply pierced zone strategies on this stock. Okay, next, let us look for bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame daily, entry zone supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at daily time frame, I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement is violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhanced score 12. Both the filters are applied to daily supply zone. Now we got 3 stocks. And these 3 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. And entry time frames are daily supply zones. Out of these 3 daily supply zones, some of these supply zones might be having high priority based on high liquidity. Apart from that, we can also filter these stocks based on zone confluence. First filter is LTF, ITF supply zone confluence. That is nothing but a daily and a weekly supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. So with this filter, out of the 3 stocks, we got all the 3 stocks. That means in all these 3 stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone. And the weekly trend is also downtrend, ITF trend. Now let's verify if weekly supply zones are having weekly EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence, at a weekly time frame, I am setting weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence filter, and 2 stocks are filtered. And these 2 weekly supply zones are even more high probability trade setup supported zones. This is based on LTF and ITF confluence and EMA confluence. Next, let us look for LTF, ITF, HTF zone confluence. I am removing this ITF specific EMA filter. Now we should focus on HTF specific. So in the supply zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, daily with weekly. Second filter, daily supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. Third filter, weekly supply zone with monthly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we did not get any stocks. Okay, this is bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Next, bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone, demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes time frame, I am selecting bullish. And this 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0, zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12, and all the 3 filters are applied to 75 minutes demand zone. We got 5 stocks. Currently these 5 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frame of these zones are 75 minutes demand zones. Out of these 75 minutes demand zones, some are already having high probability based on the high liquidity zones. Apart from that, we can also further filter them based on zone confluence. So first we will look for LTF, ITF demand zone confluence. That is 75 minutes and daily demand zone confluence. So I am enabling the filter. With this filter, out of 5, 4 stocks are filtered. In these 4 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with the daily demand zones. And the daily trend is up in all these stocks because ITF trend is daily. Now let's verify if daily demand zone is having daily EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence and daily time frame, why daily? Because 75 minutes demand zone is part of the daily demand zone, that is overlapped. So I am checking daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. With that filter, we got 2 stocks. So these 2 demand zones are even more high probability trade setup supported demand zones. So this is LTF, ITF specific filter. Next, let us look for LTF, ITF and HTF specific filter, demand zone confluence. So I am removing this EMA filter because it is ITF specific. Now we should look for HTF specific. So in the demand zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, 75 with daily demand zone confluence. Next, 75 minutes demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence, and daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence, we got 4 stocks. In all these 4 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are part of the daily demand zone. Again, both together part of the weekly demand zone. And weekly trend is up in only 1 stock. If this is having weekly EMA confluence, it is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, because 75 minutes entry zone together with the daily zone are part of the weekly zone. That's why we are setting weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence filter. And a trend, because it is bullish trade setup, trend on weekly time frame should be uptrend. Let's filter. We get any? Yes, we got one stock, Bharti Airtel. So this is even more high probability trade setup supported zone. That is the reason why it is already tested 4 times with 6 rejections. Okay, so this is about a bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Entry zone, supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes time frame, I am selecting bearish. And the 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So that's why in the pierced count parameter, at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means zone is not pierced. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and enhancer score 12. All the 3 filters are applied to 75 minute supply zone. Now we got 11 stocks. These 11 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Weekly income trade. Bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. So and entry zones are 75 minute supply zones. Out of these 11 75 minute supply zones, some of them are already having high probability based on high liquidity zones. We can further add more high probability to the zones by filtering based on zone confluence. So first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, we got 7 stocks. In all these 7 stocks, these 75 minute supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone. Daily supply zone. And the daily trend is down in all these stocks. That's why if daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence, those stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Let us verify. Already we selected zone confluence. So in the EMA confluence, daily time frame. Why daily? Because 75 minute supply zone is part of the daily supply zone. That's why in the daily supply zone we are looking for daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. With this filter we got 6 stocks. In these 6 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones overlapped with daily, and that daily zone is having daily EMA confluence. And the daily trend is down in all the stocks. That is ITF trend. So these are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Even Nifty Bank is also there. Okay. Next filter is LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. Supply zone confluence. So I am removing EMA filter because it is ITF specific. We should focus on HTF specific now. So in the supply zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, that is 75 with daily. Second filter is 75 minute supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. Third filter is daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence, we got 2 stocks. So in these 2 stocks, these 75 minute supply zones are part of the daily supply zone, both together again part of the weekly supply zone. And the weekly trend is down for the first stock. And the first stock is having weekly EMA confluence. It is even more high probability setup supported stock. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence filter is enabled, and trend on weekly time frame should not be sideways. So it should be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. Let's filter. Why weekly? Because 75 minute zone together with daily zone is part of the weekly zone. That's why we are looking for weekly time frame. So we don't have any EMA confluence specific weekly zones. the daily zone, which is part of the weekly zone. So this is bullish trade setup for this is bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone is a demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup, at 15 minutes time frame, I am selecting bullish. And these 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count, at 15, this is the pierced count parameter. So at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means pierced count is 0. Pierced count 0 means zone is not pierced. And zone achievement is violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhanced score should be 12. All three filters are applied to 15 minutes demand zone. Now let's filter the stocks. We got 7 stocks. These 7 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade. And entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. Out of these 7 15 minutes demand zones, some are having high probability, high liquidity zones. And we can further filter these stocks based on zone confluence. First filter is LTF, ITF demand zone confluence. That is 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I enable the filter. Now we got 7 stocks. In all these 7 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone. They are overlapped. And ITF trend is up in all these stocks. That's why if any of these ITF supply zones are having ITF EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. So let's verify. In the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame. Why 75 minutes? Because 15 minutes demand zone is part of the 75 minutes demand zone. That's why I am setting the filter 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence. Let's filter. We got 4 stocks. So these 4 stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Okay, apart from this, next filter is LTF, ITF, HTF specific zone confluence specific stocks. Removing this ITF filter, now we should focus on HTF. So in the demand zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. Sorry. This is demand zone, okay. In the demand zone confluence, already this filter is enabled, LTF and ITF filter. Next one is 15 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. Third filter is 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. All the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF, demand zone confluence, we got 2 stocks. In these 2 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone, both together again part of the daily demand zone. And if any of these stocks daily trend is having uptrend, yes, HTF trend is daily uptrend. If idea is having daily EMA confluence, it is even more high probability trade setup supported zone. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence at daily time frame, why daily? Because entry time frame 15 minute zone is part of 75 minute zone. Both together now part of the daily zone. Part means they are overlapped. That's why we are looking for daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. With this filter, we got 1 stock. But this is sideways trend, so you have to ignore it. It won't give any extra advantage. Okay, next. Bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone is supply zone. in bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes time frame, I am selecting bearish, and 15 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter at 15 minutes time frame, entry time frame, I am selecting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means 15 minute supply zone should not be pierced. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum order enhancer score 12. All three filters are applied to 15 minute supply zone. Now let's filter the stocks. We got 21 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. Okay, out of these 21, some of these 15 minute supply zones are high probability zones based on the high liquidity zones. But we can further add some more filters based on the zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. Let us add that filter. That is 15 minute supply zone with 75 minute supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, we got 19 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. So total 19 stocks. So in these 19 stocks, the 15 minutes supply zone is part of the 75 minute supply zone. And the 75 minutes trend is down in all these stocks. That is a ITF trend. If any of these 75 minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence, those stocks are even more high probability supported stocks. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame. Why 75? Because 15 minutes supply zone is part of the 75 minute supply zone. Overlapped. So that's why we are selecting 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence. With this filter, we got 6 stocks. So these 6 stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Now let's look for LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. I am removing this ITF specific EMA filter. We should look for now HTF specific. So in the supply zone confluence, we have to set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. This is LTF, ITF. Second filter is 15 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence, 75 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence, we got 8 stocks. In all these 8 stocks, these 15 minutes supply zones are part of the 75 minute supply zone. Again, both together part of the daily supply zone. And the daily trend is down in how many stocks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, except second one. Anyway, that is indices. Because the HTF trend is down, if the HTF zone, that is a daily zone, daily supply zone having daily EMA, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at daily time frame. Why daily? Because entry time frame 15 minute zone is part of the 75 minute zone, both together again part of the daily zone. That's why we are looking for daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. We got 6 stocks. So these 6 stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. And HTF trend is down in all these stocks. Okay, this is about the bearish trade setup for daily income trade. And in the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. First 17 in this list are indices. Remaining all are equity stocks. I keep on scrolling the list down. Whichever the stock you want to refer, you please pause the video, study, and then you can proceed further. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.